What is going on to all my hobbits, goblins, and elves out there? It is your boy Immense. Back at it with another review. And as I said before in the last review, if you missed it, I am reviewing all the Hobbit and Lord of the Ring movies, building up to the new animated movie coming out Friday. That is the Lord of the Rings, The War of Rohirrim. I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce that title. And we already reviewed the Hobbit 1977 movie. But before we get into actual beginning of the video, what's up, guys? Don't forget to subscribe if you're new to the channel, because number one, it's absolutely free. Number two, also maybe help with the YouTube algorithm, recommend the video to more people, and maybe they could join the jokes. And do feel free to comment on the replay as well, guys. Sorry, I'm do feel free to comment your thoughts on Hobbit Unexpected Journey down below. Sorry, guys, I was trying to fix my cloak and it's not going well, so I got this hoodie anyway, so it can kind of make up for a cloak. But before we get to the actual review itself for The Hobbit and Unexpected Journey, let's give a quick plot synopsis, shall we? So transition and shoes me.
Bilbo Baggins lives a simple life with his fellow hobbits in the Shire until the wizard Gandalf arrives and convinces him to join a group of dwarves on a quest to reclaim the kingdom of Erebor. The journey takes Bilbo on a path through treacherous lands swarming with orcs, goblins, and other dangers, not the least of which is an encounter with Gollum and a simple gold ring that is tied to the fate of Middle-earth in ways Bilbo cannot even fathom.
Alright, so The Hobbit Unexpected Journey, unlike the last Hobbit movie, is this trilogy and the Lord of the Rings movie, the Lord of the Rings trilogy, I have grown up on, of course. So, yeah, and I remember not actually caring for the original Hobbit trilogy that much. So this was basically a refresh to see if I've changed my thoughts or not. And with that being said, let's just get into actual review itself, shall we? And starting off with the good, we have Martin Freeman as Bilbo Baggins. I think he was perfectly cast in here, and you can kind of see how he's like kind of related to Elijah Wood, aka Frodo, in the later movie. And I feel like they have a whole lot of similarities to make them kind of related, so that I think they did a good choice with that. And overall, he just has a very charming presence whenever he's on screen. And I think it's very cool to see how him and Gandalf's relationship eventually evolves over time. So another thing that Martin Freeman did good at as Bilbo in here is the funny moments that he has with the dwarves throughout. I think this is by far probably going to be the funniest Lord of the Rings / Hobbit movie out there. I think it is really, really funny a whole lot of the time, especially near the beginning of the film. I think they did really good with the humor and landed it most of the time. Another positive I have is the use of Gollum in here. Gollum is indeed in here for the people that have watched the Lord of the Ring movies. And his little scene with Bilbo is quite funny as well, and it's better than the animated film as well. Also, another huge good thing I have to say is the action sequences in here. There's one particular one on a bridge that I thought was just absolutely awesome. I won't give away too much, but it is a very entertaining sequence. And you might want to rewatch it again. Who knows? Also thought the movie did a really good job at building up the villains in this film. It built up like 4 different villains in this movie, and I think it did a great job on all 4. You have the Smaug, which of course we'll talk about a little bit more in depth with the up-and-coming reviews. Then you also have the big bad of the I forgot the name of the Orc King was, but he's basically, the way they built him up was pretty good too. And also building out future villains in the franchise too, of course, meaning Sauron. They kind of built him out pretty decently as well in the prequel realm. Makeup and props and set designs, I think, was another great thing they did in here. While not being I don't think the makeup's not as good as the original Lord of the Rings franchise. It's still quite decent in here to make the orcs look ugly like they're supposed to be. I also loved how they incorporated the flash forward sequences in here where it flash forwards to Bilbo when he's a little bit older. I love how they encapsulated that into the story, and I think it fitted quite well. Especially, I think that warms the hearts of the people that grew up with the Lord of the Rings movie when they came to see this and saw that they had flashback sequences, or flash forward sequences, should I say. And yeah, with that being said, that is the good done. And I will say overall, I enjoyed this movie way more than I did the last time. However, I still have some issues. Now let's move on to the mixed aspects of the film I had. CGI, I think, is more better than the green screen in here, which we'll eventually talk about. But like, there's moments it looks good, especially for the creatures and stuff. But then there's moments where it doesn't.
Particularly more with the de-aging they try on some specific characters, but besides that, that's really it.
And the other mixed aspect in here I have is the exposition dumping, which, don't get me wrong, Lord of the Rings is very infamous for their exposition dumping. But the way they use it in here for the prequels, I think they use it a little too much compared to Lord of the Rings. So, I don't know. I'm 50-50 on it because it is very important information, but they go on about it for a long, long time. Now, unfortunately, we move on to the bad. And I have the character of Thor, and I don't think they did it. I remember liking the character of Thor, but I don't think they did a really good job of making me like the character in here as for rewatch, so. Anyways. And also another bad, and this is probably going to be a common trend with all these Lord of the Ring reviews. The length of the movie. I forgot the Transformers franchise was long too when I was getting past that as well. And this time around, yep, it is quite long. And also, on top of that, you have the extended editions for all the Hobbit movies and all the Lord of the Rings movies. So if you want a longer version, a more in-depth version of the movie, there's also extended editions. So it's just like, wow, this movie's already 2 hours and 40-something minutes, and then you're telling me there's an extended edition where they add more stuff in? It's just like, wow, that's gonna be really long. I'm glad I don't have to watch the extended editions. Another issue I had is how the movie is split into 3 movies, unlike the book and original animated movie. So, I don't know if I loosely talked about. I talked about this on my letterbox, but the actual Hobbit book here. Let me just show you. Okay, the actual Hobbit book is one book, and it's this small. And they stretched it out to 3 movies. And even the original Hobbit, the animated movie, has the story condensed into one movie where it's just like the book. This time around, it's stretched out to 3 movies. And on top of that, each of them are like 2 hours and 40 minutes long, almost 3 hours long, and I think that's a tad bit ridiculous. But anyways, and final one, the biggest one probably is the green screen. I think the green screen is quite bad in here a couple of times throughout the whole entire movie, and also it just adds this weird sort of look to the movie that I do not like, where it's like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's this foggy filter kind of for all the characters where they are all kind of glowed up, and I don't necessarily enjoy that, and I don't think it's pleasant to look at. But with that being said, guys, that is just my thoughts on The Hobbit on an Unexpected Journey. Now, with that being said, let's bring out the toxic meter. And I enjoyed this a lot more this time around, and I'm going to give it a Toxic Goodness a B+. And I was surprised that I enjoyed this one as much as I did. So stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen, for my up-and-coming Hobbit and Lord of the Rings reviews as well. Tomorrow I should be reviewing Desolation of Smaug and Battle of the Five Armies, so stay tuned for that. Be sure to let me know your thoughts on Harry Potter, not Harry Potter, The Hobbit on the Unexpected Journey down below. With that being said, guys, I'll see y'all next one, everybody. Peace out.